These two shears appear to be alike. They have the same name on them. They look like they're the same age. They look like they have never been sharpened before. But when you look at them closer, there's a huge difference in these shears. Let's look at those differences. First of all, let's look at the tip. One tip's broken off. Now let's look at the edge. Can this shear come to look like, and this shear needs sharpening. This one needs sharpening. It's dull. So it's a little bit loose. But can both of these shears be brought back to their original sharpness and edge? This is what we can call extreme sharpening of these twins. Watch as I walk you through the way I sharpen this one and the extreme measures of sharpening the second one. Look what's walked in the door. Normally, if I was in a salon, I'm Bonnie Megowan. I've been sharpening for 30 years, and for the first, I don't know, a couple of decades, I was going into the salon. I still go into salons sometimes, but mostly I'm sharpening shears that come in the door and shears that come from other sharpeners primarily, and that's what these are. And he sent me these two shears. Now, if I was in a salon and I was given these two shears, I would walk away from this one. I would tell them, no, just buy a new one. It's got too many problems. And this one I would sharpen. But, because I think you'll enjoy watching what I do, I'm kind of going to enjoy seeing what I'm going to do too. We might discover this together. We're going to make this shear cut like this one will after I sharpen it. This one's never been sharpened, doesn't look like, and it should come out fine. This one is kind of iffy. And let me show you what we're looking at here. Can you see the tips? It's broken at the tip. It's got huge, huge nicks that are down below the rod line. If you're a sharpener, you know what I'm talking about. That's a real problem. And then you see the handles don't even line up. Bumper needs to be replaced too. The only thing that seems good on this is the screw and the finger rest. So, should be interesting to watch. Now, if you like to watch videos on sharpening, if you're a sharpener, want to be a sharpener, it's just interesting to you, please hit my subscribe button and ring the bell so that you can watch the videos and when they first come out. And you may want to join you may be watching this on Facebook, I don't know. But if you want to join our Facebook group, we have a Sharpeners Jam group that we put out videos there occasionally. And you're going to see videos in one place and in the other that's not at both. So it should be interesting to you. So let's go to my sharpening table and let's get started. So I have these two sister shears and I'm going to do the easy one first. This is what I typically do anyway. If I have more than one shear to sharpen, I'll do whichever one's easy first. And then I go to the hard one. So I'm going to put this one aside. And I'm going to show you what all is involved in sharpening these shears. So let's take them apart. And this one has an interesting screw. So we may use this in my interesting screw video. So when you take this screw apart, you have a clicker plate and you have what we call a bell washer underneath it. So the clicker plate, and it's sometimes the same clicker plate will be used as an internal clicker plate. This time it's as an external, so I guess it would be either one. And the bell washer goes up to sort of give a little bit more protection, a little bit more strength to the clicker plate. And then sometimes these will have actually a little washer inside. I've seen that. These are the only times you're going to ever see a washer inside a shear is if there's an indent here. This one happens not to have it. and it's a washer here. So once again, let me put it back together in case you come across this type of screw. The square peg goes in the round hole, not in the square hole. This goes on here. Sometimes you have to twist it and turn it. Bell washer. Oh, this one has 2 bell washers. How about that? Bell washer up. Both of these were up. I have seen them going down. You make sure the little nipple is sticking up. You know what I would do? If I came across one with 2 bell washers, I would probably put one back in and save that one for another shear, because it probably was not on purpose, unless I find I can't adjust the shear correctly. And then this goes into the hole. And we may start coming up with names for these different types of screws. So this would be a bell washer. We'll call this a bell washer support. Bell washer. Well, no, I've seen others with bell washers. Yeah, I think I would save that bell washer because those are hard to come up by sometimes. So save that for another shear when you need it. In fact, we might need it for this sister shear that we have over here. So let's put that in a cup. And that's how to do that screw. So I'm going to take this back apart. And we're going to clean this shear. Sometimes it's hard to get that washer out of there. Come on. Well, that's determined to stay in there, isn't it? Sometimes a tweezer won't get it. Sometimes you need a pick. And if I left it in there, it probably wouldn't come out, but it's a good chance. There it goes. Did you see it go flying? That's in good shape. I don't ever replace washers unless I have to, because they have to be fitted in, and then you have problems. So let's clean these up. So my red Sharpie. Talked to my friend in Boston. He had me call these Shoppies instead of Sharpies. So whether it's Sharpies or Shoppies, you see how mine has a little indent on it. I use it so much. I probably should be flattening this stone. It's been going through a few shears today, but in the and because I need to hurry up and get these done. These are the last 2 shears I have to do today, and I want to get them in the mail. So I'm putting my pressure over my pivot hole. I'm here, pressure there, light up here. Smooth this over maybe a little bit better. You can see me better. And someone asked at the Sharpener's Jam, one of the videos, about whether the same pressure going up and down. I'm pressing a little bit harder coming down and a little bit lighter coming up. That's just the way I do it. So the stroke coming back is a little bit lighter than coming up, and I just want to make sure I'm completely flat. And I'm not getting this area right here. So then that's when I come up to the corner and I work it. And that looks good. Look at all the metal it took off. Sometimes when you see that, if you don't have time to flatten your stone, which is the correct way to do it, some things I'll tell you, do as I say, not as I do. Pressure here. And I'm a little bit more coming down, but I'm not doing any kind of rocking. And I told you I was going to fly through these. The other ones I'm going to take more time with. Same problem up in here. I scrub in the corner. And what that does, it takes a little bit more metal off underneath the pivot so that the blade kind of comes down and I get that whole rod line there. So that looks good. One of these blades is a sword edge and one is a convex. Don't think these have ever been sharpened before. And it feels like a 40 degrees, but I'm going to do a scratch test. Let me get a little bit more aggressive plate. Where is my 800? There it is. That's the one I like. I like 800. The other one's 1,000. This one's a little bit more aggressive. So I've got my clamp already set at 40. Now let's just do a scratch on the convex side at 40. Yeah. Yeah, I think 40 is it. Yeah, and I still don't have a burr. It might have been blunter than 40. Of course, my 800 grit is... don't really have a burr in the middle. Still iffy right there. I'm putting a finger at that spot. I think it's time to retire this one. I like to break them in a little bit. See, this one I've done a few shears. It's partly broken in. Yep, that's it. Now this is a sword edge. Sometimes these are sharper angled than the other ones. Doesn't feel like it today, and these look like they had never been sharpened before, so. And I'm going to do just a slight rock here. Just slightly. Yep, looks good. And these, I think, are fairly inexpensive shears. Before I get through, I'll look them up on the internet and see what they actually cost. These aren't ones that we sell. This particular guy that brings them by for sharpening, he must sell them because I've had several of these before from him. And a polish. I have a good bit of diamond spray on here already. I might go ahead and add a little bit more white polish. And I back my clamp off just a tad. Keeps from rolling over the edge, so I keep a sharp angle. Looks good. See what the brand name is on these? It's Cosmetic. ER 455. Let's see what it says. Cosmetic ER 455. Let's Google that. Cosmetic ER 455. Well, no picture of that one. There it is. Some kind of madeinchina.com. Ergo Vicks. That's it. $13.25. Okay. Oh, that says something, doesn't it? Okay. So I imagine it's someone paying that for them and bringing them over and selling them for something else. Put these back together. Alright, when you put these back together, it's from the bottom up. Washer. Oh, wait a minute, that washer was in there before. Always good to get rid of washers that are left over in your little cup, because then you'll try to put them on a shear that it doesn't belong. Okay, my washer. Square peg goes in the round hole. These together, bell washer, my clicker plate, and then this, very carefully line it up. And I like to do my first cut on a paper towel. And this is a paper towel. And that way if I've got any burrs, they're gone. Feels pretty smooth. Check my adjustment. Now these I would adjust a little bit tighter. Usually this type of screw and these small scissors, you don't want them where they move. You want them where they stay up. Sort of like our fireflies. I pull my thumb out, least pressure possible. Slowly close them, and that cuts nice. Now let's see if we can do the sister shears to come out as nice as these. Oh, and before you put them up, you double check the tip. Make sure that the tip comes together and actually crosses, and make sure it's not sharp at all. And that, yep, it's fine. Oh, and a little bit of oil. I didn't oil them yet. So those are done. Now, our first problem is that we want to address the bent handle and we want to address the bumper. So if my husband was here, he could bend that handle. He's not here though. Just installed, in all these years I really haven't had one of these installed. So I want to gently push this over, and you've got to be careful that you do this in such a way that you don't break it until it lines up. If you push too hard, this type of thing can happen. So this is a screw-in bumper, and it's still there. The little plastic is just worn off. So if I can pick this plastic off, and I'll zoom in a little bit so you can watch me. It's not very exciting, but you know, sometimes I have to get a razor blade and get this off. I'm trying to get it with my tweezers. Sometimes I can get it off with my pliers. Let me get a razor blade. I'm going to need my glue anyway. And try to do this without cutting your finger open. Okay, I've got the plastic loose. So I've got the exposed screw here. And I have a multitude of little caps. These are just the caps that go on those bumpers. And I'm going to get the clear one just so we can make it match up to the other one. I don't think anybody notices. I tell you what, let's put a different colored one just so you can tell them apart. Might be good to be able to tell the two apart. I think you'll be able to anyway. This will be shorter. Has to be, because we're going to have to take something off that tip there. Okay, I got glue on there. And then I press this into place. I'm back. Had to leave a while. This glue has dried in here, so that bumper's in pretty good shape. I may have to run and answer the phone. I'm the only one here, but let's see how much of this that we get done. Now, my debate is whether to work on these big gouges here, or to work on the tip, which is more working on this one to make a match. I'm thinking we're going to go ahead and take these gouges out. Let's start taking off some steel to get down here. We might need to remove some steel here to make that actually go into shape. I have 100 micron. It's a little bit worn. I might have to go get a fresh one. But let's see if we can go with that. I'm going to set my clamp. I like to do everything with a clamp if possible. It just gives me a lot more security. I'm going to set my clamp to 0. Because I'm just going to grind this down below the nick. Or maybe not completely below the nick, but pretty close to it. And this is going to heat up, so water is important. Let's get a little light on here what I'm doing. Let's just see how long I'm having to grind. I'm going at 50%. Let's turn it up to about 70. And it is like 27 minutes after 2. And it's good to put a finger on it because that way when it gets warm, you know. Slight rock because I want to keep it rounded off. Ooh, feeling warm. Okay, that's about as much as I want to do at a 0 angle. So now I'm going to bring it up to maybe about a 30 to continue. Still there, but it's almost gone. Let's see if I can get this in focus. Right there is still a little bit. But you know what? That is so close to being gone. We may be there. Okay, I'm going to up it to 40. And I'm going to go ahead and set my detente so I can now do a little bit of rocking to create that convex shape. Well, this one is actually a sword edge, this side. But I still might do a little rocking. cool. And I think I can get somewhere with that. So I ground about 3 minutes. Let's get back down to 0. Oh, that one's coming up a lot faster. So that's at 0. Move it up to 30. You can actually start seeing it get a little yellow at the tip when it starts getting hot. That's when you want it, you know you've got to cool it off. Okay, that's at 30. This side's looking pretty good. Of course, this is the convex edge side, so it'll be easier to do. And I'm going to move it up to 40. Now I think I sharpened the other shears at 40 degrees, so we can leave this at 40. We don't need to go any higher or sharper than 40. And that's sufficient. We need to work on the ride line next. Now the ride line is completely gone. There's no ride line. So to reestablish a ride line, I might go with something really, really coarse. This is a 1200 diamond stone. I'm just wanting to reestablish that ride line, create one. And that's looking pretty rough. I haven't got a ride line yet. Beginnings of one. Have something coarser. This one is 600 grit. And this is the more damaged blade of the two. Okay, got a ride line from about here, from where the damage is down. Let's see if I can get up here at the tip. I mean, not at the tip, but let me get at the back pivot area. A little bit more and we might be able to work from there. This one should come up easier. Yeah. Let's check the alignment on these, because I'm getting some wild looking ride lines. So I'm going to check my alignment. Definitely out of whack, which doesn't surprise me the way this is coming up. Okay, this needs to be bent right here. Always be careful. You don't want to bend in the exact same spot. And a little bit of it you can eyeball it. Let's see how close we are on that one. Nope, right there. It's gentle, little. Right there. That looks better. Nope, right there. Same spot. You're a little bit better, safer going to a wider slot than the narrow ones. I actually wish there was one a little bit wider than this one. That's better. Not quite there. And this one needed to be bent at what spot? Well, this one's got too much of a bow. I think the biggest problem here is it's bent at the base. Let's see what we can do on a ride line now. I'm not getting the tip. And I'm expecting that ride line not to be even, but if we can get this to cut, we'll be doing good. Oops, there's her tag. I got a little ride line. Anyway, remember that tip's going to be cut off, so I'm not going to worry about it if I can't get the ride line at the tip. So that's the 600 grit. I might do a few strokes on my 8,000 grit. This is 8,000 diamond. I think we're getting there. So let's go from that. because we're still going to need to go back and work the ride line. So now what I want to do is pretend like I'm starting out sharpening. So this is the sword edge side, and I'm at 40, and I want to switch to a cushion 60 micron. Get warm. You can still see that nick there. Ooh, it's hot. Bring this one down to there. And this is 800. This is the one I used on the other shear. Trying to get a convex shape there as much as possible. Take that polish out. So you make sure your stone is covered up when you're doing all this, because it would get really, really nasty with this. There's a lot of this grit coming off. Call it swarf. All right, I'm gonna knock my burr off, and then I'm gonna work my ride line again. And this is a 2000 grit stone, as we talked about earlier. Just not getting up at this area here. of a small ride line. It's not big, but you don't have to have a big one. And we're going to be coming back to the stone once more anyway. This is like if you were a hairstylist, you'd say this is a 3-process hairstyle. Look at the burr that came off here, like a little curl. Okay, I've got a rod line here, not at the tip, but that blade is going to be shortened anyway. So let's see how short I need this to go. I need to take about this much off, that much off. So I'll wait till I finish it and I'll do that together. One more time on here. Pulled up a burr again, and then I'll go back and take that burr off. Not too worried about the tip once again, because that's going to be gone. Let's go ahead and polish it. I don't want to come all the way to the edge, so I'm going to back off a little bit. I'm going at a really high speed. It's not pretty. Some things you're just better off walking away from. Now the back blade looks a little better than the front blade, but it did already. So let's put it together to see how far we are away from cutting, and then we're going to shorten the tip. Cleaning this up. Finger rest is just going to decide to come out at this. I mean, the bumper is going to come out at this point. Just be cooperative, scissors. I had to put a little Loctite on it. Square peg, round hold. And I have the bell washers. Once again, just to be consistent, I think I'll just put the one in place. Might need two, but we'll see. Yeah, we're going to need two. I've taken off so much metal, the screw won't hold. Bell washer number 2. Bell washer number 1, which they're identical, so it doesn't matter which one you put in first. And we're going to put the screw back on. Da-da-da-da-dum-bum. There. I like that, the way that feels. Got a paper towel here, and this is kind of a moment of truth. Actually, it cuts the paper towel. I just got to shorten that tip there. Let's go back to my 100. And I'm going straight in here. Straight down. That's got it. Got to keep it cool though. Now buffer always. I don't think it's going to cut back up in here. But if you can cut from the center down, let's see if it'll cut dry. That's pretty good, except not right there at the tip. And that's definitely an alignment issue. It's not going to cut anything without a little extra pressure. Here's what I would do, because this is going to be used as a backup shear and not to be able to do the same kind of cutting the other one does. But I've got this at 40. I'm going to knock this down to 35. And leave it a little bit of a bevel. But let's not do the convex edge side. Let's do this side, because I think that's the one that has the most problems. Make sure I've got it in the clamp as straight as I can. Yeah, that's still got a little bit of a nick there. And what I've done is I've created a little bevel, a little micro bevel. And we'll cut it off. This isn't a pretty sight. This is like watching somebody make sausage. Cutting my paper towel, still pulling at the tip. Let's see if it'll cut dry tissue. Right there at the tip is still not cutting right here. A couple of things we can do. Now buffer, instead of the 3000 grit side, I might do the 1000 or probably the 240 is a little rough, but let's try it anyway. Not a lot. And then smooth. So what that does, it kind of roughens up that tip, because I really don't have a ride line at this tip. That's where it was bent out, and that's what our issue is. Still not cutting at the tip. So what I can do but I'm going to shorten it some more. I could go back and try bending it some more, but I run the risk of breaking it. Now you see how I'm leaving the tissue on here? When I get to the point where it's not holding onto the tissue, like there, I probably have it. And she knew she broke the tip off, so she's expecting them to be shorter. Now let's see if they'll cut all the way to the tip. Still a little bit. Let's go more. As long as that tissue's holding here, I'm going to make it shorter. When it goes flying, then I may have it. Oh, saw some sparks. See that? Don't want sparks. Ah, it went flying. Let's see if we're there. And sometimes you'll get a little burr on the inside here, so that's what I'm feeling for. And I do have a little bit of a burr. Yeah, I got it. Teensy pull. Let's see how it cuts wet. Sometimes we can put up with a teensy pull. Not good wet, but it is cutting dry. It pulls at the tip. Let's go a little bit shorter. That tip's important. There. Look at that. Let's see how it cuts hair. Sometimes you can be really beating yourself up about something, and as much as we did on this one, the fact that if it can cut paper when we're through, we're doing well. But let's see, sometimes they'll cut hair, and this one might be the one that she uses for children. I have some hair hanging up here. Pulls back here. Cuts from the center down. Back here is not cutting. Center to the tip will cut. This area is not cutting. So sometimes this will fix it. I did this at a 35-degree angle, remember? And did a little micro bevel. Sometimes micro bevels will save you. I mean, this isn't going to slide cut. But if we can get it to cut. And part of it is I really don't have a ride line right here. It definitely cuts better. It's pulling there at the tip. Let's see how it's cutting the hair. Oh, that did it. Look. It's crunchy. Ouch. That is a stupid thing to do. You know, the only time people say, do you ever cut yourself when you're sharpening scissors? And I said, no, it's not when I'm sharpening scissors, when I'm doing something stupid. Yep, look, I got myself. Wash my hands good here. A little squirt of alcohol is always helpful. First time I've cut myself on the video, and that was stupid. I just reached in there and cut. Well, we know that they cut. But yeah. she can use those. Now those aren't going to cut as good as the sister shears that we're taking care of. But you know what, if she's just doing straight cutting, they both work. So, after much blood, sweat, and tears, we've made the 2 shears cut. You can definitely see a difference in the length of them, but these are usable now. And these are a little bit blunter, so these would be great for kids when the children come in. They're wiggly because it's not as sharp and it's shorter. So that's the end of my video. I've been told I have a lot of courage when I do these sharpenings because I don't know how they're going to come out, and I'll let you go right along with me. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell because you never know what my next video might be, because it's like whatever walks in the door. And I've kind of enjoyed doing this. I would not, yeah. This is, I mean, I looked them up. They're $13 shears. I mean, you know, and I did, what, $70 worth of work on it, and it still doesn't cut great. But it's good practice, and it's probably entertaining to you as well it was to me. So stick around and let's see what I do next.